are getting rich. They're like a vacuum cleaner. They're sucking up money every
President Trump,
place
thank
you
you.
go.
We do need to move on. I do want to ask you, Vice President Biden, about China. Let's talk about China more broadly. There have, of course, President Trump has said that they should pay for not being fully transparent in regards to.
Hello.
If you were president, would you make China pay? And please be specific. What would that look like?
What I'd make China do is play by the international rules. Not like he has caused the deficit.
What's good?
Up, not down, with China.
Drinking Pacifico today.
Sure that in order to do business in China, you have to give.
I don't have the stream up for you guys to watch, so if you want to watch it, you're gonna have to pull up your own thing.
Number two, we're in a situation where China would have to play by the rules.
I've been watching for like 10 minutes, and
when I was still vice president, he said we're setting up air identification zones in the South China Sea. You can't.
Biden's a pretty bad
I said,
talker.
We just flew B-52, B-1 bombers through it. We're not going to pay attention. They have to play by the rules. And what's he do? He embraces.
What are you guys doing? What are you guys drinking?
Like in North Korea,
Blue Moon. Hunter, where you at?
And the Chinese president and Putin and others, and he pokes his finger there at all of our friends, all of our allies. We make up we were 25% of the world's economy. We need to be having the rest of our friends with
Drinking
us.
Powerade.
China. These are the rules.
Nice.
You play by them when you're going to pay the price for not paying by them economically. That's the way I will run it, and that's what we did.
Hunter Sims, what's
Steel
good?
Tariffs and a range of other things when we were president and vice president.
All right, and let's talk about North Korea.
Excuse me, now I have to respond to that.
Okay, very quickly. Then we're going to move on to North Korea.
I heard that they installed mute buttons on their mics. Is that true?
Number one. Number two.
What up, Kevin?
There's a very strong email talking about your family wanting to make $10 million a year for introduction.
I haven't seen him use the mute button
China
yet.
policy, though. What specifically are you going to do? What specifically are you going to do to make China pay? You said you're going
First of
to
all,
pay.
China is paying. They're paying billions and billions of dollars. I just gave $28 billion.
New sanctions?
I just gave $28 billion to our farmers.
Taxpayers'
China.
money.
It's what?
Taxpayers' money. Didn't
No,
come
no,
from
yeah,
China.
you know,
What up, Kevin Guzman?
It's called China. China
Not
paid
true.
$28 billion, and you know what they did to pay it, Joe? They devalued their currency.
Yeah,
and they
I
also
like
paid out.
living in
And you know what got
Bellingham.
the money? Our farmers, our great farmers, because they were targeted. You never charged them anything. Also, I
Damn, we already got
charged
2
them
dislikes. Let's
25%
go.
on dumped steel because they were killing our steel industry. We were not going to have a steel industry,
Okay,
and now we have a steel
okay.
industry.
Vice President Biden, your response, please.
My response is
Trump
like,
says industry
this is
weird.
about
He says
there's a reason
industry.
why he's bringing up all this malarkey. There's a reason for it. He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues. It's not about his family and my family. It's about your family.
Thanks for
And your
repping
family's
more
hurting
skids,
badly.
Draco.
If you're making less than, if you're a middle-class family, you're getting hurt badly right now. You're sitting at the kitchen table this morning deciding,
Anakin Skywalker?
we can't get new tires, they're bald because we have to wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay the mortgage? Or who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college? They're the decisions you're making. And the middle-class families like I grew up in Scranton and Claymont, they're in trouble. We should be talking about your families. But that's
You can't
the last
open your
thing we
beer
want
because you
to
cut your
talk about.
nails.
I
That is
want to talk
typical
about North
statement.
Korea.
Use your
I want to-
fingertip.
10 seconds, Mr. President,
That's
10
a
seconds.
typical political statement. Let's get off this China thing. And then
What do you guys think about the thumbnail?
Around the table, everything. Just a typical
Oh,
politician.
thanks,
wanna
Jason.
see that.
Let's talk about
Not a
North
typical
Korea.
politician.
Okay.
That's why I got elected.
Let's talk
Let's
about-
get off the subject of China. Let's talk sitting around the table. Come on, Joe, you can do better.
We're going to talk about North Korea now. President Trump, you've met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un 3 times. You've talked about your beautiful letters with
Fire.
him. You've touted the fact that there hasn't been a war.
Yeah, I live in
or a
Bellingham.
long-range missile test. And yet North Korea recently rolled out its biggest ever intercontinental ballistic missile and continues to develop its nuclear arsenal. Do you see that as a betrayal of the relationship you
No.
forged? Just 30 seconds here because we need to get on to the next.
So when I met with Barack Obama, we sat in the White House right at the beginning, had a great conversation. It was supposed to be 15 minutes and it was well over an hour. He said the biggest problem we have with North Korea. He indicated we will be in a war with North Korea. Guess what?
Who are you guys voting for? Hopefully everyone's voted
Capability.
or going to vote.
I have a very good relationship with him. Different kind of a guy, but he probably thinks the same thing about me. We have a different kind of a relationship. We have a very good relationship, and there's no war. And you know, about 2 months ago, He broke into a certain area. They said, oh, there's going to be trouble. I said, no, they're not, because he's not going to do that. And I was right. Look, instead of being in a war where millions of people, Seoul, is 25 miles away, millions and millions, 32 million people in Seoul, millions of people would be
Okay.
dead right now.
President
We
Trump,
don't have
that's
war
30
and have a
seconds.
good
Thank you.
relationship.
Vice President Biden, to you, North Korea conducted 4
I'm not
nuclear
confident with
tests under
either,
the
too. I'll
Obama
say that.
administration. Why do you think you would be able to rein in this persistent threat right
Because I make it clear, which we were making clear to China, they had to be part of the deal. Because here's the reason. I made it clear, and as a spokesperson of the administration when I went to China, that they said, why are you moving your missile defense up so close? Why are you moving more forces here? Why are you continuing to do
I think Kanye would be the worst president ever.
I said, because North Korea is a problem, and we're going to continue to do it so we can control them. We're going to make sure we can control them and make sure they cannot hurt us. And so if you want to do something about it,
Yeah, I know where
open up.
Wenatchee
If
is.
not,
I go there.
it's going to continue. What has he done? He's legitimized North Korea. He's talked about his good buddy, who's a thug, and he talks about how we're better off. And they have much more capable missiles, able to reach U.S. territory.
Every
much
time
more
Trump
easily
says
than-
millions. I'm not really doing any rules to this drinking game. I'm just drinking. Because last time I got a little out of hand, I actually threw up.
On the condition
Like right behind the
that he agreed
camera.
That he would be drawing down his nuclear capacity to get the Korean Peninsula should be nuclear-free zone.
All right, let's move on to American families.
They tried
Very
to meet
quickly,
with
10
him.
seconds,
They
President.
tried to meet with him. He wouldn't do it. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like him. He wouldn't do it.
Okay, gotta give it a chance to respond.
I haven't voted yet, Hunter. I filled out my ballot, but I haven't dropped it off yet.
We have a good relationship. People don't listen. Having a good
President
relationship
Trump,
with
we have to
leaders
move
of other
on, because we
countries
have a
is
lot
a
of,
good
we
thing.
have a lot of questions to get
Yes.
to.
Now,
Your
say it's
response.
And we had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded Europe, the rest of Europe. Come on. The reason he would not meet with President Obama is because President Obama said, we're going to talk about demilitarization.
I have 6 Pacificos. I'm gonna have a big bottle of wine.
Continue to put stronger and stronger sanctions on you. That's why he wouldn't meet with us.
All right,
And it
let's
didn't
move
happen.
on. Let's move
Excuse
on
me.
and talk about
He left
American
me a
families.
mess, Kristen.
President Trump, okay, we do
They
need to move
left
on.
me a mess. North Korea was a mess.
We
And
need
in
to
fact,
move
if
on
you
so that
remember
we
the
can
first
get to
2
all
or
of
3
our
months,
questions tonight.
it was a very dangerous period in my first 3 months before we sort of worked things out a little bit.
Okay.
It was a they left us a mess. And Obama would be, I think, the first to say it was the single biggest problem he thought.
Rochester,
that our
Washington?
country-
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah,
thanks for the stash love, guys.
Issues that's most important to them.
I've been
is
growing it
healthcare,
for
as you both know.
about a
Today,
month
there was
now.
a key vote on a new Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, and healthcare is at the center of her confirmation fight. Over
Trump's
20
Twitter
million
password was
Americans get
MAGA
health insurance
2020.
through the
I would
Affordable
not
Care
doubt
Act.
that.
It's headed to the Supreme Court, and your administration, Mr. President, is advocating.
I
for
like
the court to
Andrew Yang.
overturn
Yeah,
it.
he was
If the
one of my
Supreme
top
Court does
candidates
overturn that law, those
when he ran
20
2 years
million
ago.
Americans could lose their health insurance almost overnight. So what would you do if those people have their health insurance taken away? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
First of all, I've already done something that nobody thought was possible. Through the legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst part of Obamacare, as we call it. The individual mandate where you have to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. I terminated. It's gone. Now it's in because Obamacare is no
Austin,
good.
I haven't been keeping up with F1, but I saw that show on Netflix. I kind of want to check it out.
Run it as well as you can. I could have gone the other route.
My eyesight is really bad. Check this out.
They ran it. Premiums are down. Everything's down. Here's the problem. No matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do is terminate it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will have to run it and we'll have Obamacare, but it'll be better run. But it no longer is Obamacare because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay. What I would like to do is a much better healthcare, much better. Well,
Yeah, whose stash is better, LZ or me?
So I'd like to terminate Obamacare, come up with a brand new, beautiful healthcare. The Democrats will do it because there'll be tremendous pressure on them, and we might even have the House by that time. And I think we're going to win the House. Okay, you'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. But come up with a better healthcare, always protecting people with pre-existing conditions. And one thing very important: we have 180 million people out there that have great private healthcare. Far more than we're talking about with Obamacare. Joe Biden is going to terminate all of those policies. These are
My
people
booty
that
definitely
love
beats
their
LZ's.
healthcare.
He got no
People that are
ass.
Successful middle-income people.
Mine's actually
really
kind of sick.
successful. They have 180 million plans, 180 million people, families, under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine. He won't even have a choice. They want to terminate 180 million plans. We have done an incredible job on healthcare, and we're going to do even better.
Okay,
Let me
Vice
respond.
President Biden, yes, this is for you. Your healthcare plan calls for building on Obamacare. So my
Visit
question is,
Bellingham.
what is your plan if the law is ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court?
I'm trying to go to
You have
Canada
2
once the
minutes
border
uninterrupted.
opens.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option. It'll become Biden care. The public option is an option that says that if you, in fact, do not have the wherewithal to be, if you qualify for Medicaid and you do not have the wherewithal in your state to get Medicaid, you automatically enroll, providing competition for insurance companies. That's what's going to happen.
You guys see the new
Secondly,
chairs I
we're
got
gonna make
today?
sure we reduce the premiums and reduce
Look at
drug
this
prices
shit.
by making sure that there's competition that doesn't exist now, by allowing the Medicare to negotiate drug prices with
Fire.
the
Yeah, I want to go to
insurance
Kelowna.
companies. Thirdly, the idea that I want to eliminate private insurance, the reason why I had such a fight with 20 candidates for the nomination was I support private insurance. That's why
What up?
I did not one single person with private insurance would lose their insurance under my plan,
Yeah.
nor did they under Obamacare. They did not lose their insurance unless they chose they wanted to go to something else.
No.
Lastly, we're going to make sure we're in a situation that we actually protect pre-existing. There's no way he can protect pre-existing conditions. None. Zero. You can't do it in the ether. He's been talking about this for a long time. He's never come up with a plan. I guess we're going to get the pre-existing condition plan the same time we get the infrastructure plan that we waited since 17, 18, 19, and 20. The fact that I still have a few more minutes. I know you're getting anxious.
Another
The fact
cross-country
is that
trip. I think I might drive my Corolla to LA. Possibly early December.
Have lost their private insurance, and he wants to take away 22 million more.
I ain't
people
doing no
under
shoey.
Obamacare, and over 110 million people with pre-existing conditions, and all the people from COVID are going to have pre-existing conditions. What are they going to do?
I have a
I
follow-up
will
for
drink
you,
this
Vice
beer, though.
President
I'm going
Biden.
to try to
Relates
chug this.
Something that President Trump said. He's accusing you of wanting socialized medicine. What do you say to people who have concerns that your health care plan, which includes a government
If you have a drink with you right now,
one step
you gotta
closer
finish it with
to a
me.
healthcare system run entirely by the government?
I
What's
say
your
it's ridiculous. It's like saying that, we're the idea that the fact that there's a public option that people can choose, that makes it a socialist plan. Look, the difference between the president, I think healthcare is not a privilege, it's a right. Everyone should have the right to have affordable healthcare. And I am very proud of my plan. It's gotten endorsed by all the major labor unions as well as a whole range of other people who in fact are concerned in the medical field. This is something that's going to save people's lives, and this is going to give some people an opportunity to have health care for their children. How many of you home are worried and rolling around in bed tonight wondering what in God's name you're going to do if you get sick? Because you've lost your home insurance, your health insurance, your company's gone under. We have to provide health insurance for people at an affordable rate, and that's what I do.
President Trump?
Oh, what up, Chris? How you doing?
47 years. He didn't
Are
do it.
K-Trucks cheap in
He was
Jersey or
sworn in
something?
as vice president for 8 years, and it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He wants socialized medicine, and it's not that he wants it. He's vice president. I mean, she is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. The Democrats want it. You're going to have socialized medicine.
Did Trump just say Biden's more liberal than Bernie Sanders?
We're going to stop fracking. We're going to stop fracking. Then he goes to Pennsylvania after he gets a nomination, where he got very lucky to get it. And he goes to Pennsylvania.
Chris V, where you
and
at?
says, oh, we're going to have fracking. And you never asked that question. And by the way, so far, I respect very much the way you're handling this. I have to say.
By the way,
But somebody should ask the question.
DJ's 240.
For a year.
I think he might be working on it right now.
We have a number of topics.
No, but that's
Putting it back together and with the new head gasket and a couple other things.
Vice President, your response, please.
My response is people deserve to have affordable health care, period. Period, period, period. And the Biden care proposal will in fact provide for that affordable health care, lower premiums. What we're going to do is going to cost some money. It's going to cost over $750 billion over 10 years to do it. And they're going to have lower premiums. You can buy into the better plans, the cheaper plans, lower your premiums, deal with unexpected billing, and have your drug prices drop significantly. He keeps talking about it. He hasn't done a thing for anybody on health.
I would like to get
Not
a
thing.
Here's what he says.
A little truck.
He's talking about socialized medicine and when he and healthcare. When he talks about a public
Chris,
option, he's
Chris
talking
V,
about
I'm trying to come
Medicare,
to Jersey soon also.
promotion, and destroy
I got a
Social
couple other
Security.
buddies in
And
Jersey
this whole country
and in
will
New
go.
York,
You know,
so
Bernie Sanders tried it in his
come
state.
visit
He
you
tried it in his state. His
and my
governor
buddy
was a very
Brandon
liberal governor. They wanted to
and
make it work.
Okay, let's let Vice
my
President
buddy
Biden
Eric.
respond.
It doesn't
Vice
work.
President
He's
Biden
a very
respond.
confused guy. He thinks he's running against somebody else. He's running against Joe Biden. I beat all those other people because I disagreed with them. Joe
I've had
Biden
2
is running
beers.
against. And the idea that we're in a situation that they're going to destroy Medicare, this is the guy that the actuary of Medicare said, if in fact, at Social Security, if in fact he continues to withhold, his plan to withhold the tax on Social Security, Social Security will be bankrupt by 2023 with no way to make up for it. This is the guy who's tried to cut Medicare. So no, I mean, the idea that Donald Trump is lecturing me on Social Security.
You should get COVID so you can become immune and then kiss all of your subscribers.
He tried to hurt Social Security years ago. Years ago.
It's not a bad idea.
Go back and look at the records. He tried to hurt Social Security years ago.
All right, let's move
But
on.
this
I'm
is
going to
the
move
guy
on.
that
Let
when
me,
they
Mr.
announced-
President, I have to move on to the next question.
They said
or
the
else
stock
we're not
market
gonna have
will
time to
boom
talk about it.
if I'm elected. If he's elected, the stock market will crash.
Okay,
Damn,
let's
the
move on
moderator
to the
kind of
next
fine.
question.
No matter-
Very quickly.
Look, the idea that the stock market is booming is his only measure of what's happening. Where I come from in Scranton and Claymont, the people don't live off of the stock market. Just
Hey,
in-
thanks for the
just
$5
in the
donation,
last
dog.
3 years during this
That means a
crisis,
lot.
So the billionaires
I'm gonna
in
drink
country
this.
made, according to
I'm gonna drink this to you, Corlander the first.
$700 billion more dollars. $700 billion more dollars, because that's his only measure. What happens to the ordinary people out there? What happens to them?
Yeah, I'd like to go see Jimmy Oaks. Him and I have talked a couple times. He helped me with my link setup on my Corolla,
All right.
actually.
From Scranton. That's
And seems like a cool guy. So
Before he
Okay,
even knew
we're
it,
going to move on to
and
the
he
next
left. And
question.
the people of Pennsylvania.
Let me move
showed
on
you
to my next question,
They
gentlemen.
understand.
As of tonight, more than 12 million people are out of work, and as of tonight, 8 million more Americans have fallen into poverty, and more families are going hungry every day. Those hit hardest are women and people of color. They see Washington fighting over a relief bill. Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need? 30 seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
I do, but I still have to get. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she'd love to have some victories on a date called November 3rd. Nancy Pelosi does not want to approve it. We are ready, willing, and able to do something. Don't forget, we've already approved 3 plans, and it's gone through, including the Democrats. In all fairness,
skate stuff is coming soon.
she
Hopefully,
thinks it helps her politically. I think it hurts her politically.
probably before Christmas is my
The
guess.
Republican leader in the United States Senate said he can't pass it. He will not be able to pass it.
How do I feel
He doesn't
America
have
is right
Republican
now?
votes. Why ain't he talking
Pretty
to the
divided,
Republican friends?
I would
Let me
say.
follow up with you, Vice President.
We made a deal.
Biden, because let me ask Vice President Biden. a
Yeah,
question.
Jimmy
You
Oaks
are
seems like a
leader
really
of the
good guy.
Democratic Party. Why have you not pushed the Democrats to get a deal for the American people?
Guy Fieri, I have played
Look, they passed this
Phasmophobia.
act all the way back
pretty
in
fun.
the beginning of the summer. This is like it's not new. It's been out there.
Thanks, Daniel.
This Heroes Act has been sitting there. And look at what's happening. When I was in charge.
Who do you guys think is winning the debate? Is anyone watching right now, or is it just
I was
me?
able to get $145 billion to local communities that have to balance their budgets, and states that have to balance their budgets, and then have to fire firefighters, teachers, first responders, law enforcement officers, so they can keep their cities and counties running. He will not support that. They have not done a thing for them. And Mitch McConnell said, let them go bankrupt. Let them go bankrupt.
I feel like they're both still dodging
What's the matter?
every single question that's asked.
Was a bailout of badly run, high crime, Democrat all run by Democrats, cities and states. It was a way of getting a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars to these kids. It was also a way of getting a lot of money from our people's pockets to people that come into our country illegally.
Thanks,
We
Ginger
wanna take care
Daniel.
of everything for them.
Also,
And when that
I
does,
recognize
we'd
your
love to do
name.
that. I'd love to help them. But
You've been
when that
watching
does,
for a long
everyone all
time.
over the world will start pouring into our country. We can't do it. This was a way of taking.
It shouldn't be their job to be
This was a way of
manipulative.
spending on
That's
things
like
that
what's
had
fucked
nothing
up
to do with COVID,
about
as per your
everything.
question. But it was really a big bailout for badly run Democrat cities and states.
All right, I want
If
to,
I get elected, I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I'm gonna be an American president. I don't see red states and blue states. What I see is American, United States. And folks, every single state out there finds themselves in trouble. They're gonna start laying off, whether they're red or blue, cops, firefighters, first responders, because teachers, because they have to balance their budget. And the founders were smart. They
Get a
allowed the
rip.
federal government a deficit spend to compensate for the United States of America.
I want to talk about the minimum wage, gentlemen. Mr. Vice President, we are talking a lot about struggling small businesses
Yes.
and business owners these days. Do you think this is the right time to ask them to raise the minimum wage? You, of course, support a $15 federal minimum
I
wage.
do, because I think one of the things we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to bail them out too. We should be bailing them out now, those small businesses. You got 1 in 6 of them going under.
I feel like this isn't as much as a train wreck as the last one.
Package that allows us to be able to go PPP. Money is supposed to go.
These
to
are
help them
Mexican
do
beers.
everything from organize how they can deal with their businesses being open safely. Schools, how they can make classrooms smaller, how they can hire more teachers, how they can put ventilation systems in. They need the help. The businesses as well as the schools need the help. But these guys will not help them. It's not giving them any of the money.
We are going to move on to immigration, but I want to get your reaction.
I'm working on a video right now about daily driving the Corolla, what it's like.
Alabama is different than New York. New York is different from Vermont.
But I'm curious what you guys think I should make videos about.
It's very important. We have to help our small businesses.
Any video ideas?
Helping your small businesses when
I
you're
really like
forcing
the
purchase, what's gonna
non-car
happen,
people
what's been proven to
videos.
happen
Those
is
were
when
pretty
you
fun
do
to
that,
film.
these small businesses fire many of their
You
employees.
said recently you would.
Oh, what up, Brandon? I was just talking about you.
$15 an hour. You said recently you would consider raising the federal minimum wage to $15
What I
an hour. Is
really
that still the case?
And I would consider it to an extent, but
In a
what I
second
really like,
administration?
what I read in a second administration, but not to a level that's gonna.
Oh, what up?
Businesses out of business.
Stepan Sabotin. I remember meeting you in Minneapolis.
I know different places. They're all different.
And
Some places,
are you the one that beat me in a game of
$15 is not
skate?
so bad. In other places, other states, $15 would
Okay,
be
President.
I remember the girl riding down the
Vice
ramp on a
President
butt.
Biden.
2 jobs, 1 job, below poverty. People are making $6, $7, $8 an hour. These first responders, we all.
I was saying that I'm gonna come to New Jersey
because
soon.
they've allowed us to
There's a
make-
guy named Chris
What's
Fee
happening?
that's been
They
super
deserve
cool
a minimum
and,
wage of $15.
supportive of
Anything below
the
that
channel and
is below
stuff
the
that lives
poverty
there.
level.
So
And there is
I'm
no
trying to come
way
visit
that
you and
raise
him.
the minimum wage, businesses go out of business. That is simply not true.
We're going to talk about immigration. We're going to talk about immigration now, gentlemen, and we're going to talk about families within this context. Mr. President, your
Yeah, so I wanna
administration
do
separated
more
children from their
skids,
parents at
obviously,
the border.
but
At least 4,000 kids.
my
You've sent
Corolla
first to zero tolerance policy.
is in
The
no
United
condition to
States
skid right now because the
parents
axles
of
are
more than
stock
500
and
children.
the
So
beams
how
makes
will
too much
families
horsepower
ever be
for the
united?
stock axles. So
Children are brought here
once I can upgrade my axles, once I have the money to do that, then
and they're brought here,
then I'll
and
be
they
drifting
used to
again.
use them to get into our country. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400 miles of brand new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people.
I'll let you know,
have to
Brandon.
Come in legally, and they come in through.
But how will you reunite
Let me
these
just tell
kids
you-
with their
Let me
families,
just say,
Mr.
they
President?
built cages. You know, they used to say, "I built the cages," and then they had a picture in a certain
Garage sideways?
There was
That's a
picture
good
of
question.
these
I
horrible
think
cages, and they said,
he
"Look
kinda
at these
just
cages. President Trump built them."
stopped
And then
making
it was
videos because he wasn't very inspired
in
anymore.
2014.
But I think he got a new car. He got a 350Z,
You
so
reunite the kids?
he might start making videos again.
We're trying
He's a cool
very
guy
hard.
too.
But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and through gangs.
Vice President Biden, let me bring you into this conversation. Quick response and then another question to you.
These 500 plus kids came with.
He might have just got
parents.
bored too. I don't know.
They separated them at
Just
the border
uninterested, I guess.
to make
It
a
happens. Like
disincentive to come
people
to
lose
Canada.
interest in hobbies and stuff.
Very real
And like you get used to watching YouTubers do like one thing for so long, but like they're humans too, and people like
And it makes
change.
us a
So
laughing stock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation.
Let me ask you a follow-up
Kristen,
question.
they did it, we changed the policy.
Your response
They
to
did
that?
it, we
We
changed.
did not
They built the
separate
cages.
They,
Who built the cages, Joe?
let's talk about
Who
what we're
built the
talking about.
cages,
Let's
Joe?
talk about what we're talking about. What
I'd like to go see Jonas soon and his dad.
Kids were ripped from their arms and separated. And now they cannot find over 500.
I sold my
sets of those
Power
parents,
Stroke.
And those kids are alone. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. It's criminal. It's criminal.
Let me ask
Kristen,
you
I will
about
say this, they went
10
down.
seconds
we
and
burned
then I
Nowhere to
them
go,
all.
nowhere to go. It's criminal. It's
They
criminal.
are so well taken care of. They're in facilities that were so clean.
But some of
I've
them
gotten
haven't
such
been
good-
reunited.
But just ask one question. Who built the cages? I'd love you to ask him that. Who built the cages?
Let me ask about your immigration policy, Mr. Vice
I
President.
do
The
go
Obama
see the
administration did fail to
After
deliver
hours guys
immigration
still,
reform,
but the
which had been a
border's been
key
closed to
promise
Canada, so I
during the
can't.
administration. It also
And I would
presided
also
over
like to do
record
another collab with the
deportations as well
Moist
as
Boys,
family
but
detentions at the border
again, the
before
border
changing course.
border
So
is
why should
closed, so I
voters
can't.
trust you with an immigration overhaul
I'm
now?
getting drunk. I can't talk.
It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right. I'll be president of the United States.
Sitting in front of a Rite Aid? What are you doing out
And
there,
the fact
Dan
is, I
Dunlap?
made it very clear. Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over
I do be
11
chilling.
million undocumented people. And all of those so-called dreamers,
I miss the
those
Fellas Network
DACA
as well.
kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship. The idea that they are being sent home by this guy and they want to do that is they're going to a country they've never seen before. I can imagine you're 5 years old, your parents are taking you across the Rio Grande River and it's illegal.
Joey
You
Daniel.
say, "Oh,
Fuck, I
Mom,
forgot
I'm
about
here.
Joey
I'm not
Daniel.
gonna go with you."
Fit
They've
check?
been here. Many of them are model citizens. Over 20,000 of them are first responders out there taking care of people during this crisis. We owe them. We owe them.
Kristen,
President
he
Trump,
had 8 years to do what he said he was going to do. And I changed without having a specific, we got rid of catch and release. We got rid of a lot of horrible things that they put in and that they lived with. But he had 8 years he was vice
Oh
president.
yeah, with the Marlboro hat.
Did nothing.
War check?
except build cages to keep
Check it.
children in.
Vice President Biden, your response.
The catch and release. You know what he's talking about there? If in fact you had a family came across and they were arrested,
Scar check?
they in fact were given a date to show up for their hearing. They
Fuck.
were released. And guess what? They showed up for a hearing. And this is the first president in the history of the United States of America that anybody seeking asylum has to do it in another country. That's never happened before in America. That's
Higher
never
the socks,
happened
down
before.
to the food.
You come to the United States and you make your case that I seek asylum based on the following premise: why I deserve it under American law. They're sitting in
Dump
on the
truck,
other side of the
bro.
river.
Thanks.
President Trump, your response,
So
30
important.
seconds, and then we'll
It
move on.
just shows that he has no understanding.
Anybody know what happened to Orion? I haven't
Catch
seen
and
him in
release is a disaster.
a long time.
A murderer would come in, a rapist would come in, a very bad person would come in. We would take their name. We have to release them into our country. And then you say they come back. Less than 1% of the people come back. We have to send ICE out and Border Patrol out
I'm
to
actually
find them.
rocking
We would say, "Come back in
some
2
slip-on
years, 3 years, we're gonna
Stefan
give you a court case
Janoskis
and
at the
you
moment.
terrorist.
I've also got
Court case. When you
a
say
couple
they
pairs
come back,
of
they don't come back, Joe. They
Dylan
never come
slip-ons
back.
that I've been
Only
wearing.
the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay, President Trump,
Very,
let's
very
give Vice President Biden a chance to respond, and then we're going to.
How did Rudnick break both his legs? I did not see
Your
that.
response.
Know the law, what he's telling you is simply not true.
Or check it out, they don't come back.
Check it out.
Yo, thanks.
All right, let's move
I'll
on.
send
We don't have to
Sandro
worry about it. It's
Farina.
terminated, so we don't have to worry about it
Let's
anymore.
move on to the next
Yeah,
section.
500
What up, Maurice?
kids not know where in God's name they're going to be and lost their parents.
Go ahead.
All right.
Damn,
Let's talk
broke
about
both his
our
legs in a
next section,
BMX
which
crash.
is
That's
race in
crazy.
America. And I want to talk about the way Black and Brown Americans experience race in this country. Part of that experience is something called the talk. It happens regardless of class and income.
And his
Parents who
wrist.
feel they have
Oh my
no
god.
choice
Imagine
but to
breaking
prepare
both
their
your
children
legs.
For the chance that they could
Or like
be
both your
targeted,
ankles,
including by
or
the
both your
police,
hands,
for no
both your
reason
hands,
other
both
than
your
the color of
ankles.
their skin. Mr. Vice President, in the next 2 minutes, I want you to speak directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
I do. You know, my daughter is a social worker, and she's written a lot about this. Has a graduate degree from the University of Pennsylvania in social work. And you know,
Yeah, well, I was just
one
saying,
of the
like,
reasons why I
imagine.
ended up working on the east side of Wilmington, Delaware, which is 90% African American, was to
Hunter
learn
Sims,
more
imagine
about what was going
breaking
on.
your
What I
dominant
did- I
hand and you
never
can't
had to
whack
tell
it for
my
months.
daughter, if she's pulled over,
You can't
make
use your
sure
other
she
hand?
puts- for a traffic stop, put both hands on top of the wheel and don't reach for the glove box because someone may shoot you. But a black parent, no matter how wealthy or how poor they are, has to teach their child.
I'm gonna have
when
to
you
look
walk
at
down
the
street,
redneck videos. That's
don't have a
funny.
hoodie on when you go across the street. Making sure that you, in fact, if you get pulled over, just yes sir, no sir, hands on top of the wheel, because you are in fact the victim, whether you're a person making child of a $300,000 a year person, or someone who's on food stamps. The fact of the matter is, there is institutional racism in America, and we have always said. We've never lived up to it. Do we hold these truths to be self-evident? All men are created equal. Well, guess what?
My rent is a little more expensive where I'm living now, and I'm trying to. I want to get more tattoos, but it's kind of overwhelming. Like paying more than I was before.
We have to provide for economic opportunity,
So,
better education, better
I got to get
healthcare,
on like a
better
regular
access to
video
schooling,
schedule and start
better
making some
access to
money, and then I'll
opportunity
start getting
to borrow
tattoos
money
again.
to start businesses. All the things we can do, and I've laid out a clear plan as to how to do those things, just to give people a shot. It's about accumulating.
Yeah. Also, we're dropping
as well
merch.
as it is to be free
I
from
think on
violence.
Monday. So
President Trump, same
if
question
anyone
to you.
would like to
You're
buy
right
some,
of the question.
it'd be
I would
dope
like you to
if you
speak
did.
directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
I'm
Yes,
sipping
I
on
do.
Pacifico.
And again, he's been in government 47 years. He never did a thing except in 1994 when he did such harm to the black community. And they were called.
Thanks,
he called
Chris.
them super
Much
predators.
love.
And he said that. He said it. Super
Also, thank
predators.
you for
And
copping
they
the
could
lanyard.
Never lived that down. 1994.
For the Sylvia
the
keys,
crime
fuck
bill,
yeah.
The super predators. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done what I've done. Criminal justice reform. Obama and Joe didn't do it. I don't even think they tried because they had no chance at doing it. They might have wanted to do it, but if you had a seat,
The merch will be on the Morse Kids website, but it'll be through After Hours. Yeah.
People that cried in my office. They cried in the Oval Office. 2 weeks later, they're out saying, "Gee, we have to defeat him." Criminal justice reform.
Yeah. This is not a MAGA hat.
Opportunity zones with Tim Scott,
This
a
is my
great
Marlboro
senator
hat.
from South Carolina. He came in with this incredible idea for opportunity zones. It's one of the most successful programs. People don't talk about it. Tremendous investment is being made. Biggest beneficiary, the Black and Hispanic communities, and then historically Black colleges and universities. After 3 years of coming to the office, I love some of those guys. They were great. They came into the office and they said, I said, "What are you doing?" After 3 years, I said, "Why do you keep coming back?" Because we have no funding. I said, "You don't have to come back every year. We have to come back." Because President Obama would never give them long-term funding. And I did. 10-year long-term funding, and I gave them more money.
I got bad news on my
Because I said,
leg.
"I think you need more." And I said, "The only bad part about this is I may never see you again," because I got very friendly with them and they like me and I like them. But I saved it. Colleges and universities.
Okay, and we're going to talk about both of your records, but your response to that, Vice
My
Chair.
response to that is I never ever said what he accused me of saying. The fact of the matter is, in 2000, though,
Over here it's
after the
7:12
crime bill
p.m.
was in
Edge
the law
film.
for a while. This is the guy who said the problem with the crime bill is not having people in
I
jail.
do have Steve on my toes still, but it's so faded you
Go
can
on my
hardly tell
website,
that
I
it's
can quote
there.
the date when he said it. not enough people. He talked about marauding gangs, young gangs, and the people who are going to maraud our cities. This is a guy who in the Central Park.
DJ got a More Skids logo on his leg.
He continued to push for making sure that they got the death penalty. None of them were guilty of the crimes they were suggested. Look, and talk about
Yeah, I want to move to New York City someday.
20 people. He commuted 20 people's sentences.
Would be down to live in LA someday, but not
Over 1,000.
soon.
The very law he's talking about is a law that, in fact, initiated by Barack Obama.
I think it is a little more expensive to ship merch to the Netherlands, but
The federal prison
it's not
system was
crazy.
reduced by 38,000 people under our administration. And one of these things we should be doing, there should be no minimum mandatories in the law. That's why I'm offering $20 billion to states to change their state laws to eliminate minimum mandatories and set up drug courts. No one should be going.
It does smell like piss,
because they
yeah.
have a drug problem. They should be going to
2
rehabilitation.
people in a row.
not
New
to
York City
jail.
smells like
We should
pee, but it's pretty
fundamentally
neat.
change the system.
And then another
That's what
one.
I'm
New
gonna
York
do.
is lit, but
Why
it's
didn't you do
yicky.
it 4 years ago? Why didn't
Yeah.
you do that 4 years ago, even less than that? Why didn't you were vice president. You keep talking about all these things you're going to do and you're going to do this, but you were there just a short time ago and you guys said nothing.
We
You
did.
know, Joe, I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama, because you did a poor job.
Yeah,
If
we
I
should
thought you
do
did a good job,
do
I would've
hoodies,
never
huh?
run.
Or maybe long sleeve
I
tees. We've
ran
never done
because
that
of you.
before.
I'm looking at you now. You're a politician. I ran because of you.
All right, Vice President Biden, your response to that, and then I do have some
Yeah.
questions for both of you.
Well, I tell you what, I hope he does look at me, because what's happening here is, you know who I am, you know who he is, you know his character, you know my
More
character.
Skids Snapchat. I
You know
forgot
my
the
reputation for
login
honor
to
and
that.
telling the truth. I am anxious to have this race.
So
I'm anxious to see this take place.
I don't know.
I am.
It was kind of popping for a while
The
though.
country's on the ballot. Our character's on the ballot. Look at us closely.
Let me ask some follow-up,
Excuse me.
please respond, and then
If
we're
this
gonna have
stuff
follow-up
is true about Russia, Ukraine, China, other countries, Iraq.
That's a good
This is true.
question. We should do a
He's
Halloween
corrupt
shirt.
politician.
All right.
So don't give
That'd
me
be
the
cool.
stuff about how you're this innocent baby. Joe, they're calling you a corrupt politician.
Nobody.
President Trump, I want to stay on the issue of race. We're talking about the issue.
Laptop from hell.
President Trump, we're
Nobody.
talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
I
you've
have
just,
to respond,
please.
because look,
Very good.
there are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that has all the five former heads of the CIA, both parties say what he's saying is a bunch
Oh yeah, I
of
like
garbage.
Tecate.
Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia?
Yeah, I guess it is probably too late for a Halloween shirt, huh? Unless we dropped it like on Halloween.
Gentlemen, I want to stay on the issue of race.
Otherwise, you guys probably wouldn't be able to get them by
We're
Halloween.
going to continue on the issue of
Yeah.
race. Mr. President, you've described the Black Lives Matter movement as a symbol of hate. You've shared a video of a man chanting white power.
What up,
to
Jesper
millions of your
Peterson?
supporters. You've said that Black professional athletes exercising their First Amendment rights should be fired. What do you say to Americans who say that kind
Damn,
of language
hard-hitting
from a president
questions coming
is
in.
contributing to a climate of hate and racial strife?
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. I said, that's a horrible thing. And they were marching down the street. And that was my first glimpse of Black Lives Matter. I thought it was a terrible thing. As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room.
But what do you say to Americans who are concerned by that rhetoric?
The least racist person in this room, he
Criminal
says.
Justice reform done.
That's
Housing
crazy.
reform, opportunity zones. I took care of black colleges and universities. I don't know what to say. They can say anything. I mean,
This moderator
they can
is
say
savage,
anything.
and she's fine as
It's very-
hell.
It makes me sad because I am the least racist person.
He said it
in
again.
the audience because it's so dark. But I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Okay, Vice President
Wow.
Biden, let me ask you very
What
quickly.
a
and
bold
then I have
statement.
follow-up.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire. every single one. Started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists. He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims. He has moved around and made everything worse across the board.
Yo, thanks, Taylor.
Essentially,
This is one of my favorite shirts.
Last time we were on stage,
It's an old
he
school
said, I
one.
told him to stand down and stand ready. Come on. This guy is a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
Least racist.
President
Least
Trump, I'm gonna give you
racist.
10 seconds to respond, and then I have a
You know,
follow-up.
you made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean,
You said
where did
you're
that-
Abraham Lincoln.
Where did that? No. I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community.
And I'm
I
saying,
didn't say I'm Abraham Lincoln. I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community. Now, you have done nothing other than the crime bill, which put
No, it's not. It's not made to open
tens of
beers, but
thousands of
if you have a ring, you could probably open a beer.
mostly in
You just
jail.
gotta
All right,
use the
let me-
leverage.
Let me
They
ask
remember
Vice
it,
President
because if you
Biden.
look at what's happening with the voting right now,
Let me ask
they
Vice
remember
President
that you
Biden.
treated them very, very badly.
The-
Just
the-
take a look at what's happening out there.
Vice President Biden, let me give you a chance to respond within this context. Crime
Okay.
bills that you supported in the 80s
Ooh,
and
Cafe
90s
Racer. Yeah, I want to do
contributed
that.
the incarceration
Definitely want to
of
do that.
Tens of thousands of young black men who had small amounts of drugs in their possession. They are sons, they are brothers, they're fathers, they're uncles, whose families are still to this day, some of them suffering the consequences. So speak to those families. Why should they vote for you?
one of the things is that in the 80s, we passed 100%, all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change it since then, particularly the portion on cocaine. That's why I've been arguing that, in fact, we should not send anyone to jail for a pure drug offense. They should be going into treatment across the board. That's what we should be spending money. That's why I set up drug courts, which were never funded by our Republican friends.
Cafe
They
Racer is a
should
motorcycle.
not be going to jail
It's a
for
style of
a
motorcycle,
drug
I
or an
guess.
Alcohol problem.
Just how they
should be
look.
Going into treatment.
Probably
That's
based
what
on
we've
like
been
a
trying to
old
do.
school
That's what I'm going to get done because I think
race
the American people
motorcycle,
have
I would guess.
now seen that in fact it was a mistake to pass.
More
those
plans
laws
for the
related to
8.6. I
drugs.
want to
If
get
they weren't under the crime bill.
a
But
carpet
why
for
didn't
it.
you get it done? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians.
I want to get a carpet for it, and I want to get axles for it, like I was saying.
You were vice president along
Oh,
with.
if I get axles, then I'll be able to go
President
drifting.
later.
But the
For
axles are
8
so
years,
fucking
why
expensive.
didn't you get it done?
It's like hard to
Took 8
save up
years to
for
get
them.
it done. Now you're saying you're gonna get it done because you're all talk and no action, Jim.
We got
I want
a lot
side
of-
skirts, rear bumper.
We got 38,000 prisoners left from
You got.
The axles are like $650.
38,000 prisoners were released
Well,
from
the ones from
federal
Weir are like
prison.
1,000,
There
and then the
were
ones that
over 1,000
Panic's
people who were given carte
making
blanche.
are going to be
When
like
in fact,
$650.
We're the ones that put in the legislation saying we could look at pattern and practice of police departments and what they were doing, how they were conducting themselves. I could go on, but we began.
The Corolla has a
process. We
GTS
began the
stock
process.
rear end
We lost an election.
when it comes to axles, but the
To win
the
back
diff
that election and change
is,
the policy.
Cusco
I just asked one question.
diff
Why
and
didn't
Weir
you do
Performance
it
final
in the
drive.
8 years, a short time ago. Why didn't you do it? You just said, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this. You put tens of thousands of.
Next car will definitely be an
black
off-road
young
car,
men in prison.
4x4.
Now you're saying you're gonna undo that. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years with Obama. You know why,
Because-
Joe? Because you're all talk and no action.
All right, Vice President Biden, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
In the Republican Congress. It's the answer.
Well, you gotta talk them into it, Joe. Sometimes you gotta talk them into it.
We're going to move on to our next section.
Like I did
which
with
is
criminal
climate
justice reform. I had to talk Democrats into
change.
it.
Gentlemen, we're running out of time, so we got to get on to climate change, please.
Ooh,
You folks
climate
have
change.
very
Here we go.
different Visions on climate change. President Trump, you say
Swap-
that
put a
environmental
13B in your
regulations have
Samurai
jobs in the
Hunter.
energy sector. Vice President
Everyone that
Biden,
thinks
you
Hunter
have
should
said
put a
you see
13B in a
addressing climate
Samurai,
change as an opportunity to create
say
jobs. For
yes.
each of you, how would you both combat climate change and support job growth at the same time? Starting with you, President Trump, you have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So we have the Trillion Trees program. We have so many different programs. I do love the environment, but what I want is the cleanest crystal.
There you go,
clean
Hunter.
water, the cleanest air. We have
It's-
the
it's
best,
a rotary
lowest
from a
number in
RX-7.
Carbon emissions, which is a
And some
big
people
thing
actually
that I
do the
notice
swap.
Obama goes with all
Kinda
the
sick.
time. Not Joe. I haven't heard Joe use the term because I'm not sure he knows what it represents or means, but I have heard Obama use it. And we have the best carbon emission numbers that we've had in 35 years under this administration. We are working so well with industry, but here's what we can't do.
He says industry.
How
That's so
filthy it
weird.
is. Look
Instead of
at
industry.
Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy. The Paris Accord, I took us out because we were going to have to spend trillions of dollars, and we were treated very unfairly. When they put us in there, they did us a great disservice. They were going to take away our businesses. I will not sacrifice tens of millions of jobs, thousands and thousands of companies because of the Paris Accord. It was so unfair. China doesn't kick in until 2030.
I think the
Russia goes back
the
to a low
V10
standard.
BRZ is pretty
And
fucking
we
sick.
Kicked in right away, it would have destroyed our businesses. So, you ready? We have done an incredible job environmentally. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and the best carbon emission standards that we've seen in many, many years.
Dynamat the A6.
Vice
I
President
might do
Biden.
that
Destroyed our
and then put a
industries.
carpet over the Dynamat. But I need to get a cage first. So I'm kind of saving that. I'm saving the carpet and the sound deadening until I get a cage.
We have a moral obligation to deal with it. And we're told.
Any
by all the
V10
leading
is sick,
scientists
or
in the
V12.
world, we don't have much
It's
time.
just crazy.
We're going to pass the point of no return within the next 8 to 10 years. 4 more years of this man eliminating all the regulations that were put in by us to clean up the climate, to limit limit emissions will put us in a position where we're going to be in real trouble. Here's where we have a great opportunity. I was able to get both all the environmental organizations as well as labor, the people worried about jobs, to support my climate plan. Because what it does, it will create millions of new good paying jobs. We're going to invest in, for example, 500,000.
Man, LZ's Porsche,
50,000 charging stations.
all
on
of his
our
cars are
highways
insane.
so that we can
Crazy
own
how
the
far he's
electric
come
car
in the
market
past
in
like
future.
4
In
years.
the meantime, China is doing that. We're going to be in a position where we're going to see to it.
My little brother
that
does
we're
still
going
have a
to take
Miata.
4 million existing buildings and 2 million existing homes and
He has like
retrofit them so
40
they don't
cars,
make as much
50 cars
energy,
or something,
saving
and they're all
hundreds of millions
fucking
of barrels
insane.
of oil in the process and creating significant number of jobs. And by the way, the whole idea of what this is all going to do, it's going to create millions of jobs and it's going to clean the environment. Our health and our jobs are at stake. That's what's happening. And what right now, by the way, Wall Street firms indicated that my plan will in fact create 18.6 million jobs, 7 million more than his. This is from Wall Street. And I'll create
3.2 million subs, get you 40 built ass cars.
Not on
Yeah.
climate, just on the economy.
President Trump.
Hillary came out and said very strongly, $6,500 will be taken away from families under his plan. That his plan is an economic disaster. If you
It probably is the
want to
sickest
do
car
it,
collection that
if you
anyone
look at
has.
his plan,
'Cause they're all, like,
you know who developed it? AOC
Sick
plus
ass
3.
cars.
They know nothing about the climate. I mean, she's got a good line of stuff, but she knows nothing about the climate. And they're all hopping through hoops for AOC plus 3. Look,
Congrats,
their
Kevin.
real plan costs $100 trillion. If we had the best year in the history of our country for 100 years, we would not even come close to a number like that. When he says buildings, they want to take buildings down because they want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. This is the craziest
What up, Joe
plan
Clabby?
that anybody has ever seen. And this wasn't done by smart people. This
The
wasn't
bear-
done by
You know what's crazy?
frankly, I don't
When
even know how it can be
when
done.
Adam was like
They want to spend
teasing about what motor he should put into the Mustang, I messaged him on Instagram and I was like, yo, you should put a bear in that thing. That'd be crazy, right? Ford motor. And he replied like with a photo. I'll show you.
And we're running out of time and we have a lot more questions to get to. So let's hear from the Vice President. I have a number more
I
questions.
don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers.
Wait,
$100 trillion. Give me a break. This plan was, and this is plan endorsed by every major environmental group and every labor group. Labor, because they know the future lies.
I sent him this message.
And us being able to breathe, and they know they're good jobs in getting us there. And by
I
the
said
way,
bear swap the GT350.
in America is
And then he said
solar energy.
he sent this photo
Wind causes cancer. Windmills. It's the fastest growing job
of the Barra in the GT350 before he posted the video.
$50 an hour. We can grow and we can be cleaner if we go the route I'm proposing.
President Trump,
Excuse me.
please
We are
respond and then I have
We
some
are
follow-up.
energy independent for the first time. We don't need all of these countries that we had to fight war over because we needed their energy. We are energy independent. I know more.
Yeah, I
about
talked to
wind
Braden
than you
Carlson.
do. It's extremely expensive.
Cool guy.
Kills all the birds. It's very intermittent. It's got a lot of problems, and they happen to make the windmills in both Germany.
Trump
and
just
China.
said windmills
And the
kill all
fumes coming
birds.
up, if you're a believer in carbon emission, the fumes coming up to make these massive windmills is more than anything that we're talking about with natural gas, which is very clean. One other thing.
Find me a
Solar.
scientist said that.
I love solar, but solar doesn't quite have it yet. It's not powerful yet to really run our big, beautiful factories that we need to compete with the world. So
False.
it's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. But if you want to kill the economy,
Tommy F. is a
if you're
great
oil
guy.
industry,
He seems
you
like a
want-
kind of a
and
dick
what about
sometimes,
fracking?
but
All right, let
I
me-
met him and
let me
he's
allow Vice
actually
President
a really
to
cool
Never
dude.
said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did show the tape. Put it on your website.
Put it on.
Put it on the website. The fact of the matter is,
Sure,
it's
it's
flat.
Yeah, if I wasn't on stream, I probably would have turned this off when
I
Trump
do
said he
love
wasn't the
fracking
he was
because
the
answer,
most
we
least
need-
racist person in the
we
room.
need other industries to transition to get
I want to
to
build a van.
a complete zero emissions by 2025. What I will do with fracking over time is make sure that we can
Yeah,
capture
me and Hunter got dinner with
from
Tommy.
the fracking, capture the emissions from gas. We can do that, and we can do that by investing money in doing it. But it's a transition to that.
I have one more question.
Thanks,
This
Johnny.
time,
Excuse me, he was against fracking. He said it. I will show that to you tomorrow.
This is my last beer. I'm
I
trying to
am
savor it.
against fracking. Until he got the nomination, went to Pennsylvania, then he said, but you know what, Pennsylvania? He'll be against it very soon because his party is totally against it.
I do
Fracking
not
on
watch
federal land,
Eliminate.
I said No fracking.
Il-
no oil on federal
So let
Eliminate.
me ask this final question in this section, and then I want to move on to our final.
I'm trying to get a
section.
Delica,
President Trump,
definitely.
people of color are much more likely to live near oil refineries and
Dude.
chemical plants. In Texas, there are
Galuron-
families who worry the plants near them are
Galuron?
making them sick.
I have no idea where you can get a windshield for your A6. I tried for like a month.
Why should these
to
families
find one.
give you another 4
Could
years
not
in
get
office?
one
The families that we're talking about are
anywhere in the whole
employed
country.
heavily, and they're making a lot of money, more money than they've ever made. If you look at the kind of numbers that we produce for Hispanic, for Black, for Asian, it's 9 times greater the percentage.
I do
gain
watch Jimmy
than it
Oaks.
was under in 3 years than it was under 8 years of the 2 of them, to put it nicely. 9 times
Favorite
more.
European car?
Somebody lives, I have not heard the numbers or the statistics that you're saying, but they're making a tremendous amount of money economically. We saved it.
I like
saved
the
it
BMW
again a couple months
2002
ago
a
when
lot.
Oil was crashing because of the pandemic. We saved it. We got, say what you want about relationship, we got Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Russia to cut back, way back. We saved our oil industry.
What do I do
And
other
now
than
it's very
cars?
vibrant.
Uh,
Everybody has very inexpensive gasoline.
Vice
Remember.
President Biden.
Ping
your
pong.
response, And then we're going to have a final question for both of you.
Pickleball.
My response is that those people live on the
Ride my
fence lines.
bicycle.
You don't understand this. They live
Drink
near
beer.
chemical plants that in fact pollute, chemical plants and oil plants. And
Skateboard,
refineries that pollute.
snowboard.
I used to live near that when I was growing up in Claymont, Delaware. And all the oil refineries in Marcus Hook and the Delaware River than there is
That's about
any
it.
place, including in Europe at the time. When my
Yeah,
mom took
pickleball.
the car out
Pickleball's
with
dope.
Our first frost to drive me to school, turning the windshield over, there'd be oil stuck in the window. That's why so many.
I don't have a
people in my
fixie,
state are
but,
dying and getting cancer. The fact
I'm
is
just
those
painting it.
frontline communities, it doesn't matter what you're paying them, it matters how. you
Pool.
keep
Yeah,
them
I
safe.
don't know how I
What
forgot
do you
pool.
do when you impose restrictions on the
I do that a lot.
the pollutants coming out of those fence line communities.
Okay, I have one final
Would he
question.
close down
Paul.
the oil industry?
Video games. Yeah.
Close down
Fuck.
the
I
oil
forget
industry?
everything I do.
Transition from the oil industry, yes. I
Oh,
will
that's a big
transition.
statement.
That is a big statement
That's a
because I would stop.
Why would you do that?
My snowboard does not have a horse on it.
Pollutes significantly.
I see.
And here's the deal. But
That's
you
a
can't
big
do that.
statement.
I watch Backyard Built. Yeah, every video he posts, I watch the
Because
whole
it has
fucking
to be
thing. It's
replaced
so
by
good.
Renewable energy over time. Over time. and I'd stop giving to the oil industry. I'd stop giving them
Debate
federal
watcher.
subsidies.
Yeah, I do that.
You won't give federal subsidies to the gas. Excuse me, to solar and wind.
Yeah.
Why are we giving it to oil industry?
We actually do
All right.
the solar and wind.
Peace out, Joe
Maybe
Nelson.
the biggest statement in terms of business, that's the biggest statement.
Okay,
Because
we have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that Texas?
Industry.
Will you
Okay.
remember that Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President Biden, let me give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I have to get to the final question. Vice President Biden.
He takes everything
Final
out of
question?
context, but the point is, look, we have to move toward a net zero emissions. The first place to do that by the year 2035 is in energy production. By
Why do you need a
2050.
All right.
distraction, Paul Womack?
No, we're finished with
Is
this.
he
We
going
have
to
to
get
move
What's
on
going
to
on
the
in your
final
life?
question. We
No,
have to
I'm
move
going
on
to
to our
rejoin
final question.
Paris Accord and make China abide by what they agreed to.
All right, this is about leadership, gentlemen. And this first question does go to you, President Trump.
Come to Washington, take a picture on your medium format camera.
What will you say
Sure.
in your address to Americans who did not vote for you? You'll each have 1 minute, starting with you, Mr.
We have to make a country.
All right,
totally
peace out,
successful
Kevin.
As it was prior to the plague coming in from China. Now we're rebuilding.
I
it.
love
We're
Wolf
doing
Like. That's my
record
favorite
numbers,
song, Wolf Like Me.
11.4 million jobs in a short period of time, etc. But I will tell you, go back. Before the plague came in, just before, I was getting calls.
Let
from
us know,
people
Paul.
that were not normally people that would call me. They wanted to get together.
S13
We had
K
the
swap,
best
that's dope.
black
You should do that.
unemployment numbers in the history of our country. Hispanic, women, Asian, people with diplomas, with no diplomas, MIT graduates, #1 in the class. Everybody had the best numbers. And you know what? The other side wanted to get together. They wanted to unify. Success is going to bring us together. We are on the road to success.
Feeling
But I'm
down.
cutting
Oh,
taxes, and he wants
bummer,
to raise
man.
everybody's taxes.
Is she,
And new
you guys live
regulations
far
and
apart
everything.
or what?
He will kill it. If he gets in, you will have a depression, the likes of which you've
Oh,
never seen.
open
Your
relationship.
401ks will go to hell,
Damn.
and it'll be a very, very sad day for this country.
All right.
That's crazy.
Vice President Biden, same question to you. What will you say during your inaugural address
Oh,
to
no.
Americans who did not vote for you?
I will say, I'm an American
That's a
president.
crazy
I
situation.
represent all of you, whether you voted for me or against me. And I'm going to make sure that you're represented. I'm going to give you hope. We're going to move. We're going to choose science over fiction. We're going to choose hope over fear. We're going to choose.
Good luck with that,
because there are
Paul.
enormous opportunities to make things better. We can grow this economy. We can deal with the systemic racism. And at the same time, we can make sure that our economy is being run and moved and motivated by clean energy, creating millions of new jobs. And that's the fact. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to say, as I said at the beginning, what is on the ballot here is
I'm
the
chilling
character of
too.
this country.
Good to hear.
Decency, honor, respect, treating people with dignity, making sure that everyone has an even chance. And I'm going to make sure you get that. You haven't been getting it the last 4 years.
All right. I want to thank you both for a very robust hour and a half, a fantastic debate. Really appreciate it. President Trump, former Vice President Joe Biden, thank you to Belmont University for hosting us tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those watching tonight. Election Day is
Very
November 3rd.
robust.
Don't forget
Yes.
to vote. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night. Thank you.
There you have it, second and final debate of this 2020 election.
Look at Trump just standing so funny.
Donald Trump, Joe Biden, two white men in their 70s, two very different candidates.
Two white men in their 70s, two very different
Melania Trump
candidates.
come on the stage wearing her mask tonight. Is two very different visions of how to handle the COVID crisis, how the COVID crisis.
Hunter, don't say that.
40 minutes or so, it seemed like a relatively normal debate. As the candidates laid out their positions on the COVID crisis, got heated about 40 minutes in when Joe Biden unexpectedly.
Garbage Worldwide merch coming
over
before
Donald
Christmas.
Trump and his
Promise.
personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. President Trump responding with a
Trump
series
stands like
of
he got a
unverified,
dumper, but he
eliciting
don't.
false charges about Joe Biden and his business dealings and the business dealings of his son, and then some harsh clashes. We didn't have the kind of interruptions we saw in the first
Slam
debate.
Dakota forever.
The mute did appear to work at least for a time, but there are harsh clashes on health.
All right, I think I'm gonna get off. Thanks, guys, for hanging out tonight.
The Trump administration policy and
Uh,
the big issue of character and race. Joe Biden memorably saying that saying sarcastically Abraham Lincoln, talking about Donald Trump as one of the most racist presidents of modern times. The big question, John Carl, in the debate hall tonight for the president and his team, did they do enough to change the dynamic of this race?
Well, look, George. This was a much.
I would play some music and shit, but
certainly, the Trump camp
I'm only on my laptop right now, so I don't have my computer to play music through. But I'll probably get on live
He actually had a theme at times.
again more recently or more frequently probably, and just like hang out, talk to you guys, listen to music and shit. So
much more disciplined Donald Trump. But George,
if that sounds good, we could do that. It was cool. We had like over 100 viewers all night, so hyped on that. If you guys could drop a like, maybe. We got 80 to 5 ratio right now, pretty dope. But yeah, I'm gonna get off and bake some salmon and drink some more beers. We're actually
how much did you pay in taxes?
almost out of these beers, so
it was a much feistier and more focused Joe Biden as well.
Mary Bruce,
yeah. Who won the debate? Post it in the comments.
They put him down for several
Before I
days.
dip out, I want to see what you guys think.
It certainly seems that way. You know, George, going into this debate, we were talking about how in many
I'm
ways,
about to
Joe
bust
Biden
out the
needed
wine.
to stay the course. This was anything but trying to run out the clock here tonight. Joe Biden was surprisingly aggressive.
America as a whole lost, yeah.
His strongest debate performance, much stronger certainly.
All
than we saw
losers.
him have during the
Yeah, you
primary.
get.
And he did go on
You guys
offense.
are right.
He went after Trump really hard on his taxes, on his lack of a health care plan, on foreign influence, on immigration and child separation policies. And his team tonight feels that he did a very strong job here. They say, you know, yes, the president may have had a softer tone, that there weren't the kind of interruptions that we saw at the last debate. But Biden's team says, look, that simply doesn't cut it. That they say Trump needed a win here, he needed a big win here, and he didn't do that. That's according to the Biden team. They also feel, you know, that Trump came in trying to drive specific attacks. They say that he repeated lies.
It's a lot like Corona.
Split the script on the president.
All right.
Put him
Peace out, everyone.
David Muir, he was not
Thanks for
saying
watching the stream. I'm gonna do this more often.
That very difference between the two of them on how they would handle the pandemic.
No problem,
You know,
guy.
We
It's
saw
good seeing you.
Vice President came out with the black mask on. The president did not have a mask. They differed on where we've been as a country, the pandemic,
Peace.
where we are, and where we're going. The president talked about him having COVID. He said, "I'm immune." He said, "Not sure how long that lasts, but I'm